Keep Reading, your channel for great book recommendations.
Hello readers, it's great to see you all again, and thanks so much for tuning in and for watching my channel. I really appreciate it and appreciate the support. I'm Reuben Hepplethwaite, and welcome back to Keep Reading, your channel for great book recommendations. I'm currently concentrating on a series of great non-fiction books, and this week I'm recommending a book that's written by one of the world's greatest guitarists, Johnny Marr, and it's his autobiography, Set the Boy Free. There you go. Now, Mancunian Johnny Marr is probably best known for being the guitarist, co-founder and co-songwriter for the rock band The Smiths. The other founder, songwriter and frontman being the singer Morrissey. Now the Smiths, they had hit albums from 1982 to 1987, and they had a huge impact on the pop and indie music scene at the time. I found this autobiography to be honest, gritty, moving and enlightening actually, and it's written by a very interesting, modest and intelligent man. And for anyone that loves music, particularly guitar music, or if you're a budding guitarist, this is a must to be added to your to-be-read list. What I really loved about this book was that Marr goes into great detail about the songs he wrote and how they developed into the classic indie pop songs that I remember when I was growing up. They were so different and a complete rejection of the synthesizer-based dance pop that littered the charts at the time. I would have been in my early teens when the Smiths were at the height of their powers, and this book, it brought back those nostalgic memories of listening to How Soon Is Now, This Charming Man, and There Is a Light That Never Goes Out. And also watching them on Top of the Pops as this weird frontman swung gladioli flowers around his head and wore a massive pearl and bead necklaces with an open silk shirt and a pseudo rockabilly hairdo. Johnny Marr's hairdo was pretty out there too, resembling a beehive that he says was inspired by the 60s American girl group, the Ronettes. What I didn't realise, or didn't occur to me when I was a teen, and learned whilst reading this book and playing back their back catalogue, playing back the Smiths' back catalogue, and listening with a bit more intent than I did when I was a teen, which this book encourages you to do, was just how political the band was. Early on in the book, you realise that Labour supporter Marr had worked out who he was at a very young age. He discovered the guitar at 5, Manchester City at 10, and his future wife at the age of 15. The Smiths' lyrics were thoughtful, melancholic, anti-capitalist, funny, and they really lured the listener into a relationship with the music. Tensions within the Smiths led to them splitting up in 1987 after just 4 studio albums, when Johnny Marr was only 23 years old. And in this book, he tells his account of what happened, including his and Morrissey's extended royalties dispute with Andy Rourke, the bassist, and Mike Joyce, the drummer, which finally got resolved in, I think, 2005. Now, Johnny Marr goes on to tell his extraordinary and fascinating story of what he did then. This includes his time with the Pretenders, the Electronic, Modest Mouse, and the Cribs, as well as session work with Pet Shop Boys, Brian Ferry, Billy Bragg, Kirsty MacColl, Black Grape, and Talking Heads, and also his time with his own band, Johnny Marr and the Healers. Whilst reading the book, I was amazed to discover all of the hits that I knew and loved and had sung along to, but didn't realise that Johnny Marr was playing the guitar. Also, throughout the book, I discovered music that I hadn't heard before, like Modest Mouse and the Cribs, which I really enjoyed, as well as Johnny Marr's solo albums, The Messenger and Playland, which are absolutely brilliant. This book, it culminates in his decision to go solo with the aptly named chapters Individual Citizen and Too Late to Stop Now. A funny story from the book should give you an idea of whether this book will be right for you. Shortly after Michael Jackson had died, Johnny Marr was stopped in LA by a reporter who recognised him and asked him to name his favourite song from the Jackson album Thriller. Marr told the reporter that he didn't like Thriller and went on to say, of course he didn't like Thriller. He was in the Smiths. Now, if you share or at least excuse this sentiment, then this book is definitely for you. Johnny Marr's guitar playing was hugely influential, and it served as a building block for more Manchester legends that followed the Smiths, like the Stone Roses and Oasis, along with many other bands including the Libertines, Suede and Blur. Johnny Marr has achieved a great deal in his life, and this includes working with some of the best musicians around. He also received an honorary doctorate from the University of Salford, and he includes his lecture when he received his doctorate at the end of the book, entitled All Ways from the Outside, Mavericks, Innovators and Building Your Own Ark. He also recorded music with the composer Hans Zimmer for feature films. But what struck me in this book is that he seems to have stayed truly grounded, and he's a thoroughly nice fella. He's a devoted husband to his wife Angie, who he met in 1979 before the Smiths, and is a devoted father to his two children, Sonny and Niall. If you're into music, particularly rock music and rock guitar legends, then read this book. I promise you, you won't regret it. It's probably a bit soon to be thinking about Christmas, but I think that this book will make a great stocking filler for most 40-somethings. So that's another book recommendation done. Subscribe to the channel today for more great book recommendations by clicking the link in the description at the bottom of the video. Send your own recommendations in the comments section and I'll shout them out next week. Also, don't forget to hit the thumbs up if you like the video and to share it with all of your friends. I'll be back with another recommendation next week. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, stay positive, and keep reading.